The distance between two homes in Windsor is barely 4 miles, yet between them lies a silence stretching across generations, a gulf separating what the monarchy was and what it hopes to become. On one side stands Royal Lodge, the grand residence of Prince Andrew, draped in scandal and isolation. On the other, Forest Lodge, the soon-to-be forever home of Prince William and Kate Middleton, symbols of a monarchy rebuilt on restraint and renewal. Before we dive in, there's something I need to share with you. Over the past few days, thousands have watched these stories unfold, but most haven't subscribed. If you're one of them, I invite you now to join us. Subscribe to Crownverse so you never miss the next chapter in this unfolding royal history. For most families, neighbors separated by a short drive might share dinner, laughter, or small kindnesses. But within the House of Windsor, even proximity carries weight. Royal Lodge and Forest Lodge are more than homes. They are statements. One represents a past of privilege and controversy, the other a future defined by discipline and control. According to royal biographer Tina Brown, Prince William and Princess Kate can't abide Andrew. Her words are as sharp as they are revealing. Speaking on her Fresh Hell Substack, Brown explained that the Prince and Princess of Wales are hoping Andrew will disappear now that he has lost his titles. In royal language, disappear doesn't mean vanish in shame. It means retreat quietly, fade from sight, and stop casting a shadow over the crown. It's a sentiment shaped not by cruelty, but by calculation. The Waleses understand that modern monarchy depends on perception, that its survival now hinges on the stories people believe. In their version of the future, scandal has no room to breathe. Andrew's situation, however, refuses to fade. His residence at Royal Lodge, once home to the Queen Mother, has become the monarchy's most uncomfortable inheritance. Though stripped of military honors and royal duties, he remains legally bound to the property under what experts call an ironclad 75-year lease, signed in 2003. That lease makes him nearly immovable. Not even a monarch can simply show him the door. This is the paradox of modern royalty, bound by law, constrained by optics. King Charles can remove titles, reduce funding, and control appearances, but even he cannot unwind contracts signed under the Crown estate. And so, Royal Lodge has become a gilded trap, a place too public to ignore and too protected to dismantle. Tina Brown describes it with cutting precision. Unless Andrew can be persuaded to banish himself to a cottage on the Balmoral estate or a cushy villa on a Dubai golf course, his face will keep seeping back into the national consciousness. It's a vivid image, a reminder that the monarchy's greatest enemy is not rebellion, but repetition. Every time Andrew reappears, he reminds Britain of a wound it wants to forget. Reports suggest that William and Kate feel the same. Their move to Windsor was meant to symbolize modern simplicity, a family living quietly, without grandeur, close to their children's schools and the countryside. But just beyond their new home, another story waits, one that contradicts everything they've tried to build. Royal Lodge sits like a monument to the old order, opulent, scandal-soaked, and stubbornly unchanged. To live in its shadow is to be reminded that not all royal reputations can be controlled. When news broke that the Wales family would move to Forest Lodge, sources described it as a forever home, a phrase that, in royal terms, suggests permanence, a decision made not for a season, but for a reign. Yet, as Tina Brown points out, the proximity to Andrew's residence threatens to spoil that narrative. His presence, his history, and his refusal to retreat keep Windsor tethered to its most uncomfortable truths. royal insiders have hinted that the family's patience has run thin. After being banned from royal ceremonies and even from Sandringham's Christmas gatherings, Andrew has become a figure of polite exclusion. His titles are gone, his duties erased, and his future uncertain. Now, Brown wrote, there is nothing left to deprive him of but his electric toothbrush. It's darkly humorous, but painfully accurate. Christopher Anderson, another royal expert, echoed Brown's assessment in an interview with Us Weekly. He said, William has had it with his Uncle Andrew. While removing Andrew's princely title would require an act of Parliament, a near impossible move, the family's strategy now lies in quiet suffocation. If he cannot be erased, he can at least be forgotten. Behind the scenes, pressure has mounted to convince Andrew to leave Windsor voluntarily. Reports indicate that King Charles used this same strategy to persuade him to relinquish his remaining honors earlier this year. Not through direct command, but through a steady erosion of privilege. The palace calls it diplomacy. In truth, it is exile by omission. The image of Andrew's life now feels strangely cinematic, a once visible prince living in near silence, surrounded by reminders of what was lost. The chandeliers, the portraits, the grounds, each speak of a time when his name carried dignity rather than disgrace. Yet the walls of Royal Lodge echo differently now. They are no longer a symbol of lineage, but of confinement. For William and Kate, this quiet standoff represents more than personal discomfort. It is a test of how the modern monarchy navigates moral distance within bloodlines. How do you share a surname with someone whose existence threatens your legacy? How do you protect an institution that still shelters its own scandals? Every action the Waleses take, every speech, every appearance, is calibrated to project renewal. The presence of Andrew nearby makes that task infinitely harder. His downfall, though self-inflicted, lingers like a storm cloud over a family trying to look toward the sun. Even geography seems to conspire against them. 4 miles, a short drive through the woods, is all that separates the future of the monarchy from its past mistakes. 2 homes standing side by side, each a mirror reflecting what the other wishes to forget. The optics of this contrast are almost theatrical. On one side, a family of 4, raising children under the banner of duty, preparing for a reign defined by relatability. On the other, a fallen prince, clinging to property and pride, out of step with a country that has moved on. Observers have called this tension Windsor's quiet war. No statements, no confrontation, only distance, avoidance, and carefully managed silence. It is a strategy as old as the monarchy itself. When controversy cannot be erased, it is contained. But containment comes with its own cost. For all the palace's control, Andrew remains a reminder that royal privilege once stood above consequence, a story that continues to haunt the institution even as it reforms. As Britain modernizes its monarchy, the line between duty and disgrace grows sharper. King Charles leads with caution, William with precision, and Kate with quiet strength. Yet Andrew's shadow lingers, refusing to fade. Perhaps that is the tragedy of royal life, that one man's downfall becomes another's inheritance. Tina Brown's commentary on the matter carries a tone both sardonic and sad. Unless Andrew can be persuaded to banish himself, his visage will keep seeping back into the national consciousness. That word, banish, carries centuries of history. In another age, it might have meant exile to foreign lands or a distant outpost of empire. Today, it means something subtler, almost merciful. Silence, absence, disappearance. For William and Kate, that disappearance is not cruelty, but necessity. They represent a generation of monarchy defined not by excess, but by endurance, by understanding that in a world ruled by cameras, scandal doesn't fade, it echoes. And so the Crown adapts once again, not by rewriting its laws, but by redrawing its boundaries, not by disowning its blood, but by burying it in distance. Royal Lodge remains for now, its windows shuttered, its gardens manicured, its resident quietly isolated. Forest Lodge, meanwhile, prepares for its new chapter. Laughter, children, light.